Okay, so we're going to put a soffit on this gable end, so I'm going to zoom in here to this gable end. And I have put one on here, and I'll show it to you. It's right there, right? So that blue line represents a soffit that's following the underside of that top chord of the roof truss, basically. Right now I have my fascias turned off, so they're there, but they're hidden right now. So I'm going to put one on this side over here. And what you'll notice I put on here was I put on some dimensions, and that's a step that you're going to have to do. So this roof elevation is at 17.9, so I'm going to dimension off of that roof line. So from that roof line down to the point where I want my soffit to end is 3 foot 1 and 11/32. Okay, and you do need it that precise probably. And from that roof elevation up to the peak is 4 foot 2 and 13/32. Now each of you might have something different there because you probably have a different entrance or something, but you'll need to know those two dimensions. Okay, so we're going to put a soffit on this side of this roof here. Now, in fact, I put mine on this side. Could I just mirror that over? Yes, I could. But as far as this demonstration goes, we'll put a new one on that side. So I'm going to go back to my floor plan. I believe I did this on my first floor plan. Okay, so I'm on my first floor plan. Zoom in on this. I have an underlay of my roof on here so you can see that roof. And I'm going to go to roof soffit. And I'm going to draw a rectangle from where I think it's going to start. So I find my gable end line. I'm going to put this over here. Okay, so that's an outline of where that soffit's going to go. Now I'm going to put the direction arrow on it, slope arrow. And the slope arrow starts from the peak and goes down to the eave. So if you click on that, you would start up here at the peak, draw it down to the end, or the eave area. If you click on that arrow, we want to set these heights. And those are the heights that I had from the dimensions that were on the elevation. And I wrote those down. You'll probably have to write those down to remember those. And so the level of the heel, which is actually the peak, right, should be from the roof level, and the height offset would be 4 foot 2 and 13/32. Okay, so now that one is set right. Now I'll go check the level of the head, and that should be also from the roof, and the height offset should be down now from that level, a minus 3 foot 1 and 11/32. And I'll apply that. Okay, so now that should be right. If I go to finish that, and I go to look at my south elevation again, oops, must have done something wrong there, right? Okay, So in the process of me making an adjustment there, I made something wrong. I got my peak right, but I got my other one wrong. So if I click on that and I go to edit the boundary, it'll tell me which level do I want to edit it on, floor plan. And I want to change the head height. So I click on the blue arrow again, and it went back to the default here. So if I change that back to the roof level and apply that and finish, go back to my south elevation, and there it is. Okay, you might say, well, it's not lining up quite right. It's at a weird angle there, a little bit. But it's probably because I'm out here and I should be back at this point, and I'm out here, right? Because looking straight down on it, I couldn't find exactly where I wanted it probably. So if I click on that, or if I go dimension that from that point to that point, I need to move that point back 3.25 inches. If I go back to my edit the boundary, go back to my first floor plan, I need to pull this back 3.25 inches. Finish that. Go back to my south elevation. There it is. Okay. Now it's right in the exact right spot. But if I click on it, so it's a different type than the one I put on over here. So over here you'll see I have one, and I called that just a 1/2 inch aluminum soffit. The one over here that I put on is a 1/2 inch plywood on 2x4 soffit. So I went and created my own soffit type. So if I take this one, I go edit the type, you'll notice that in mine I have 2 of them up here. But if I wanted to change this one, I could duplicate it. I'm not going to because I have my other one, but I could duplicate it. I could then go edit the type, and I could move this up into the category. I could take the framing or the lookout part of this and delete that, and now I would have a soffit that I could change here from plywood sheathing to aluminum soffit, and then I'd have a new one, right? So I'm not going to go through those steps, but that's just a matter of creating your own soffit type, right? So I'm going to cancel that, but that's something you can do. And in my case, I will probably just go over here and change it to my aluminum one, and then it's right.